And Utah's still my rival, and do I want to beat them? Absolutely. But, I have a ton of respect for Kyle Whittingham.
Former Utah safety Eric Weddle also talked to the Zone about the game. He's expecting a Utes win, but says he likes the coaching staffs at both schools, and his own son is even being recruited by the Y.
They're recruiting Gage just like everyone else, and the men that are leading that program, I would be honored if Gage ended up choosing BYU, right? Or, obviously Utah.
Both say they love the adrenaline rush you get from playing in a game like this. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
We have extended pregame coverage starting here on KSL News Radio at noon tomorrow with Cougar Sports Saturday. Our top national story from ABC News. Urgent evacuations continued overnight in parts of southwestern Alaska battered by the remnants of a killer typhoon. Hundreds of residents in remote, low-lying native villages airlifted to safety.
Quite a journey. That Typhoon Halong, when it was south of Japan, was the equivalent of a Cat 4 hurricane. But then it quickly decreased in intensity. It became this kind of low-pressure system, got caught up in upper-level lows, and a strong jet stream pushed into southwestern Alaska.
ABC meteorologist Ginger Z. President Trump says he'll meet soon with Russian President Vladimir Putin as he welcomes Ukraine's President Zelensky at the Oval Office today.
We inherited this, and we'd like to see if we could finish it, end it. We want it ended. So many people have died in this war.
The president says he'll meet with Putin in Warsaw to discuss ending the war. The gold rush continues. Gold prices hit $4,300 an ounce for the first time this week. They've backed off slightly from that high today, but only about 1%. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 316 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 46,268. S&P up by 40 points. The NASDAQ up by 135 points. We do have emergency traffic coverage. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have a crash blocking right lanes of traffic northbound I-15. It's after the mall at Southtown, 106 South, but before 90th South in Sandy. And with those right lanes blocked, we are seeing heavy delays back to Draper at Bangerter Highway. But we're actually seeing a good drive on the rest of your Valley freeways. If you happen to be headed northbound on I-15, Draper through Sandy, tack on an extra 15 to 20 minutes minimum to get through these backups. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today near 60 degrees, up to 63 degrees for the rivalry game day. And doesn't look like we have a chance of rain tomorrow. Sunday, chance of rain coming back late in the evening, but Sunday's high up to 72. 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states. I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, was in court today to plead not guilty to charges accusing him of sharing classified information. KSL's legal analyst and the host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, join me to talk about the charges against Bolton and what he's accused of doing.
Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has been indicted on 18 felony counts. 8 of those are what they call transmission of national defense information. That means sharing national defense information, and the idea is that it was confidential, it was top secret. And then there are 10 counts of retention of national defense information, which means holding it, having it in your possession when you shouldn't. So he not only had, according to the indictment, and obviously he's presumed innocent, he not only had confidential information, but he transmitted it to others, according to the indictment.
How serious are these charges?
He's charged with 18 counts, and every one of those carries a maximum prison term of up to 10 years. So these are serious. And it's not like he's going to do 180 years. He's not going to do 10 years if he's convicted. But this could result in some jail or prison time.
Okay. Tell us what he's actually accused of doing.
So what happened was once he was appointed national security advisor, he created a group chat with his wife and daughter. And he was doing that sort of to create what he's calling a diary, thinking that when he's not in office anymore, he could maybe write his memoirs, write a book or something like that. So they were sharing information every day. The government has alleged that some of the information they were sharing was top secret, stuff that he wasn't supposed to share with anyone. And what he's saying is, look, it was a group chat. We were just gathering information for my memoirs. I wasn't trying to leak national security information. In fact, no one got it except the group. But that may not be a defense. I mean, if you're not supposed to share information with, foreign adversaries, you probably shouldn't share it with your wife and kid either. At least that would be the government's theory of this case.
Mm-hmm. Is there any evidence that some of this information did make it to foreign adversaries?
There's no reason to believe from what we've seen from the indictment that any of this information was leaked into anyone else's hands other than his wife and daughter. And I don't know how that'll play in the court of public opinion, or more importantly, in the court of the jury trial that he's likely to have. But it may be one of those sort of no harm, no foul type of things. On the other hand, sharing top secret information is problematic.
He appeared before the judge today, pleaded not guilty. What happens next?
So in federal court, your first hearing is just what you described. You walk in, you plead not guilty, you're done. The judge will also schedule a trial, probably 90, 120 days from now. The judge will also schedule times for the government to disclose what they call discovery. That is their case. So they probably said, look, you need to make sure that the defense gets all the evidence that you have by 60 days from today. Anybody that wants to file motions, file them 90 days. And we're going to have a trial in 120 days. Now, I'm just making those numbers up, but those would be typical numbers that you would have in a federal case.
Okay, so how is this different from what both President Trump and former President Biden were accused of when they were accused of having classified documents? And how will that play into things, if at all?
It's very similar to what President Trump was indicted for when he had classified documents, arguably at Mar-a-Lago. And it's similar to what President Biden was accused of. He was never indicted for the documents he had at his home. If you recall, he had them in his Corvette. But when you're a government official, you're obviously in possession of very sensitive information. And the reason for this law is to prevent you from disseminating that, from taking that, from removing it from the place where it should stay and where it should stay private and secure and confidential. And so leaking confidential information, or even in this case, and in the case of Biden and Trump, possessing confidential information can all by itself be a crime.
Guilty or not, what does this say about our system of handling classified documents, and how do you think that will change things in the future?
You know, a lot of our public leaders want to be able to have memoirs. They want to be able to write a book or to do something to share their experience. And so they'll keep documents, they'll retain things to help them remember what they were doing and help them sort of prove what they were doing and seeing at the time. But they're confidential. They're marked top secret right on the top of them. And it seems to me that if you're a government official and you have a document that says top secret, do not disseminate, you need to follow that pretty closely. So I would hope that the Trump investigation that led to an indictment, the Biden investigation, and now this one would teach future government officials that maybe you don't want to take possession of these kind of documents.
The evidence used in the indictment was actually brought to light by Bolton himself when he was the victim of a cyber hack. On the Start Here podcast, ABC's Alex Mallon describes how that investigation played out.
When he went and reported it to the FBI, they investigated that hack and they discovered all of these supposedly highly classified emails that he had been sending to his wife and daughter, and that spurred them to open a further investigation. Now, we don't know the results of that, whether it was closed down, but obviously fast forward to the Trump administration, they claim that this was a serious matter. They further investigated it, and it led them to that search that we saw in August on Bolton's home.
Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News that the FBI carried out this search, and they did it related to allegations that Bolton is in possession of classified records.
And that is where they charged him with those additional 10 counts of unlawful retention. They say that those notes that he had in his home contained very highly classified information about his time in those meetings. And they say in this indictment, Brad, that some of that information was inside of Bolton's home and office.
So they're saying it's not like he had pieces of paper that had the big classified stamp on them that he was retaining, but they're basically being like, by writing down your day-to-day as the national security advisor and then sharing that stuff with your wife or your daughter or even just keeping emails about that stuff, that is classified effectively. That's what they're saying.
Correct. And that's what makes this case, vastly different from the classified documents case that we saw against then former President Trump brought by special counsel Jack Smith. Those documents that were allegedly in Trump's possession at his Mar-a-Lago club contained those highly classified markings that would discern them as clearly classified material. And also in that case, which you don't have here, it was the allegations of the obstruction where Trump was actually subpoenaed for those documents. There's no evidence in the indictment that we saw yesterday that Bolton was ever subpoenaed to get this information back.
He took classified information and he published it during a presidency. It's one thing to write a book after. During, and I believe that he's a criminal, and I believe, frankly, he should go to jail for that.
We've heard since 2020, when John Bolton published this book, that President Trump said clearly that he believed John Bolton broke the law by publishing his daily activities and interactions with people in the administration, and that he should be prosecuted.
As National Security Advisor, John Bolton was selected and worked side by side with President Trump during his first term in office. But Mallon says that changed when Bolton began to disagree with the president on foreign policy.
Bolton has been one of the most public critics of Trump's handling on national security, foreign policy issues. Even just yesterday in the morning, Bolton had a tweet where he posted a news clip of an interview where he was again critical of Trump's handling of Russia relations. He was very critical of Trump's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. He's been a constant critic, I think, and the administration has definitely taken note of that.
Bolton didn't comment to reporters as he entered the courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland, to plead not guilty. His lawyer says the former Trump administration national security advisor did not unlawfully share or store any information. It's the third case to be filed against a Donald Trump adversary in the past month. There are concerns the Justice Department is pursuing the Republican president's political enemies while at the same time sparing his allies from scrutiny. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Utah and BYU are now making their final preparations before their game tomorrow night at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. This will be the first rivalry game with both teams ranked in the AP Top 25 since 2009. BYU safety Tanner Wall says he's excited for this one.
You know, this is one of the best weeks of the year for sure to have this matchup. Makes it even better that we're both ranked, having great seasons, just a lot of excitement.
Both teams are competing for a spot in the Big 12 title game. Utah quarterback Devin Dampier was asked what their mindset is heading into Provo.
Keep it going. We're on a roll right now. Let's keep rolling. Simple as that.
BYU defensive coordinator Jay Hill shared what he thinks they need to do to have success against the Utes.
Well, I think we need to do a great job of stopping the run. We can't let the quarterback be super efficient when he does throw it.
And Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham also spoke ahead of the matchup.
I would say it's shaping up to be the biggest event in the state of Utah, sporting event like it is most years.
The Cougars are looking to win their third straight game against the Utes, while Utah wants to pick up their first win against BYU since 2019. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. tomorrow in Provo. Catch all the action here on KSL News Radio with extended pregame coverage starting at noon. We do have an emergency traffic situation. Traffic and weather is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
Actually, Maria, we're coming out of emergency traffic, so that's the good news. Now, we're not clear of delay yet, but an accident northbound I-15 prior to 90th South, still blocking one right lane of travel. Speeds are improving, traffic getting by pretty well. We're still seeing residual delays through Draper. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, the temperatures are cooling down, and that means it's time to crank up your furnace. And if you haven't had it checked out, this is the time to do it. And I want to tell you about At Your Service Pros. At Your Service Pros, they're different. They're locally owned, they're family operated, they're 5-star rated, and they are trusted by Utah families, have been trusted for over 20 years. So let them help you right now. They want to save you some money. They have $49 furnace tune-ups, $39 electrical inspections, and $75 off electrical repairs, because they know things are tight right now, and they want to make sure that you can heat your home affordably. You can also get a free second opinion because you deserve some honest answers. So if your system can be repaired, they'll fix it. If it needs replacing, they will show you some affordable options. Again, let At Your Service Pros be your pro and go-to for heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. You can call them right now at 801-YOUR-PRO, or you can visit them at yourservicepros.com or 801-YOUR-PRO.
Rivalry Week is here. The 5, the 4, dive, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown! BYU, Utah. Bear Bachmeyer gets in for 6 in double overtime. We weren't ready for this. I'm the best they ever had. Listen for Cougar Tracks all week long. 30 minutes of coverage of BYU Utah. All this week at 6:30 on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars and Rivalry Week. KSL News Radio.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs PPO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
How do they get so excited about 50 yards?
Think of what you could sew with that.
But you need a really great sewing machine, a Bernina.
Get Bernina sewing, serging, and embroidery machines and accessories at fantastic prices. The Bernina Super Weekend Sale.
Don't miss this Dave's Bernina Super Saturday one-day event, October 18th at our Provo and St. George stores, featuring 0% financing for 48 or 72 months on qualifying purchases made October 18th.
Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on all new Bernina machines. Even the most advanced sewing machine in the world, the Bernina 990, is on sale.
And receive a free $5,200 gift bundle.
Hurry in for amazing bargains on trade-ins and just out-of-the-box special event demo machines that come with warranties.
Unbeatable one-day Super Saturday, October 18th discounts and clearance items throughout the store.
Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Ensign College is trying something new starting next year, a 3-year bachelor's degree program. It's designed to help students get into the workforce faster while saving them money. Joining me here in studio, Ensign College President Bruce C. Cush. Thank you so much for coming into the studio and joining me today.
Great to be here, Maria.
So tell us how this new program is going to work.
Well, so this is something we've been looking at for a long time, but as you said in the introduction, we now have approval to offer 2 3-year bachelor's degrees on our campus. We've been doing it for a couple of years now through our relationship with BYU Pathway, and it's the same degrees. It's a degree in communications and a degree in information technology. And so students can complete a degree in 3 years. 90 credits is about the number. And what we've done is essentially we have carved out all the elective credit. So in many cases, a 120 credit degree requires a major in general education. And then many times they require just electives that students get to choose. And as we looked at this and talked with employers, we felt that a 90 credit degree would prepare them well. Employers were very positive about this. Our accreditor was very positive about it. And so we're excited for the prospect of people who want to come back and finish a degree, or a student that is just working through a degree program that can get into the workplace faster. They'll save about a year. They'll save a year of tuition. They'll save a year of time that gets them quicker into the workplace, earning sooner, And we think that certainly gives them the opportunity to leave college with less debt as well.
You've picked these two areas of study because you've talked to employers. Is there a chance that you plan to expand these programs?
Well,
or degrees, I should say?
Yeah, so we offer currently 10 different bachelor's degrees, Bachelor of Applied Science degrees, as we received approval from the board now 5 years ago. We are in communication with our accreditor. It would be too early to say what we may be able to do with those other degrees, but certainly we have hopes that there will be others to come.
Okay, what are you hearing from students and parents?
Well, students are excited about it. That, we have to do some educating because they may wonder, well, gee, if I get a 90 credit degree, will that not have the same credibility with an employer as a 120 credit degree? And we absolutely are convinced that it will. And there is some research that's been done by a firm by the name of Titan Partners that in surveying both students and parents, there's an overwhelming feeling of people being very positive about the prospects of a 90 credit degree. And particularly with this generation, they're concerned about return on investment and preparation for work.
Certainly.
And we think that this is a way to provide a very high quality, high value education with less time.
Appreciate you being here with me today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And joining me here in studio is the president of Ensign College, President Bruce C. Cush. BYU is taking preventative measures to protect well-known statues on their campus ahead of this weekend's rivalry game.
The statue of Brigham Young, the BYU Cougar, and the iconic blue BYU sign on campus are all wrapped up in cellophane. The Daily Universe reports BYU does this every week ahead of their rivalry game with Utah to protect them against vandalism. In the past, red paint has been thrown on the statues, making for a difficult cleanup. Students say showing respect to campus promotes safety and good sportsmanship. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
There is one thing that the Utes and the Cougars are coming together for, helping people who face food insecurity. Tyler Jarris with the Student Engagement Program at the U says you don't have to be at the game to see this collaboration.
The University of Utah and BYU are collabing together with the Tackle Hunger Together food drive, partnered with Smith and the Utah Food Bank. What we're doing together is at Smith and at the game this weekend, there will be opportunities for Utah fans to donate. You can donate via Venmo at the game on Saturday at the Utah tailgate area. And then at the Smiths in Salt Lake City, we have barrels out. We're in 7 different locations just across the valley. Tonight, our students are there ringing bells and gathering cash and food non-perishables, and it's been a great opportunity to raise money in food. The food drive has been a University of Utah tradition, and in the same days when the same conference, this used to be a big thing at the end of Thanksgiving for fans to donate, and we're excited to be in the same conference again and being able to participate in the food drive and tackling hunger together. And I think bringing our fandom together well to rival right, and besides just on the field, being able to give back to the community. And I think it's just a great opportunity.
And it's a good way to get off on the right foot before the rivalry game. Last year's game ended with intense taunts and verbal altercations. Leaders of both schools say it's time to turn down the temperature and rival right.
So in our messaging to our students, the students we're taking to the game and all those, we have talked about sportsmanship and fan up and opportunities to be responsible fans as we're down there and be responsible on social media and all sorts of stuff. So we've been doing that throughout our messaging for the last 3 weeks. And then just encouraging, you can still have fun with the rivalry. We still crossed out Y's on campus. But we're trying to stay in the positive side of it, as our president has taught us. With it being on the road, I think it's probably a little different for us this time than at home. But just for student programming, we're just encouraging our students to be smart and to be wise and be good fans.
The goal in collaborating with the food bank is to get enough food to provide 100,000 meals for people in need in Salt Lake and Utah counties. And join Todd and me tomorrow for the Greenhouse. 8 to 11, we'll be out on Robinson Field collecting food as well. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Gold prices are soaring. Is it time to invest? Severe weather prompts one of the largest airlifts ever in Alaska. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Still some backups on northbound I-15 Draper and Sandy due to a crash prior to 90th South. Maria?
No need to worry about the weather for the rivalry game. It looks like we're going to have clear skies, but it's going to be cool. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks at the White House between President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelensky centered on ways to end Russia's war against Ukraine. Zelensky asking for long-range Tomahawk missiles, which President Trump says could be seen as an escalation, but also says a possibility he discussed with Russia's President Vladimir Putin yesterday in a phone call. When asked by reporters if he thinks Putin may want to meet with him in Hungary to buy more time and is playing him, the president responded.
I've been played all my life by the best of them. And I came out really well, so it's possible. Yeah, a little time. It's all right. But I think that I'm pretty good at this stuff. I think that he wants to make a deal.
A day after a grand jury handed up an 18-count indictment against John Bolton, the former Trump advisor appeared in a Maryland court, pleaded not guilty to charges of storing and sharing classified information. On Wall Street, stocks are up as concerns over China tariffs ease. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Salt Lake Community College's Taylorsville Redwood campus is closed because of a water line break. The college posted that the water line break happened at the Lifetime Activities Center. As a result, the campus will be closed until further notice. They say they're working to resolve it as soon as possible and will continue to keep students updated. It's almost ski season, and if you're looking to find good deals on new equipment, you might be able to find some this weekend. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
There will be a ski swap at the Utah State Fair Park both tonight and tomorrow where you can buy equipment for resale prices set by people who put them up for sale. So people can get paid for the equipment they don't want without having to take the time to list it online, and people who might not be able to afford brand new things at a shop can find some quality items at lower prices.
Organizers say the best deals will be tonight from 5:30 to 9. We have more information on our website, kslnewsradio.com. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by nearly 300 points, sitting at 46,248. S&P up by 38 points, and the NASDAQ up by 128. Utah and BYU are now making their final preparations before their game tomorrow night at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. This will be the first rivalry game with both teams ranked in the AP Top 25 since 2009. BYU safety Tanner Wall says he's excited for this one.
You know, this is one of the best weeks of the year for sure to have this matchup. Makes it even better that we're both ranked, having great seasons, just a lot of excitement.
BYU is looking for their third straight win over Utah, while the Utes are looking to win their first game against the Cougars since 2019. The kickoff is at 6 and the pregame starts at noon right here on KSL News Radio. Haunted house season is here, but why do people enjoy being scared on purpose?
Haunted house connoisseur Heather Boyce says she's looking for a thrill.
The feeling that you get that kind of comes from the pit of your stomach and like rises up into your chest, that it's almost like an adrenaline rush, maybe.
But she also says it's very hard to scare her because she knows it's all fake. Mental health therapist David Ornegri says that's not unusual.
Something funny about us human beings is that we are one of a very small handful of species that actually seeks out danger for entertainment.
Ornegri says the best way to scare someone is to build up the anticipation. So haunted houses that use silence and darkness in some areas have a much better chance of scaring people when the reveal happens. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We still have residual backups due to an accident northbound I-15 going from Draper up to almost 90th South. The crash is in that right lane of travel. Also some heavy and slow traffic northbound I-15 in Utah County at American Fork. A new accident just popping up southbound I-15 about 2100 South getting moved to the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KS KSL Traffic Center.
A dry weekend ahead, a high tomorrow of 63 and a lot of sunshine. On Sunday, 72. Then those showers could return on Monday and the temperature dipping down to 58 for a high. 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone stabbing a knife into your heel, or does your lower back pain get worse as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100% pain-free.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system, I put them in my shoes, walked out of the store. All the pain was gone. My back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you and schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The gold market continues to go up and up, dipping just a bit today, but overall up 30% in just the last 6 months. Now, people are talking about whether it's time to invest in gold. So we thought we'd bring in DMBA certified financial planner Shane Stewart. And Shane, so what is happening with the gold market right now?
Yeah, the gold market is taking its cues from a couple of things going on in the economy. Things like lowering interest rates and a little bit of economic uncertainty. Many people think that gold is a safety place to go, and so that's what's driving the price.
So are we likely to see more record highs?
It's possible. The only issue is when you talk about should I get into gold, when something's at an all-time high, that's probably not a great time to get in. And so it's something that, and you'd have to really believe that it's going to go up significantly more, which I'm not sure. I mean, as you mentioned, the 6 months, it's been 30%. Over a year, it's been a 60% increase. And so I'm not sure how much further it can go. It's possible, but it's not as likely to go higher.
You mentioned the reasons that people go out and buy gold, but how are they buying gold? I know that Costco for a while had something like gold bars, and I know people in the past have bought gold coins, but how exactly are they going about this?
Yeah, that's one thing, and one of the downsides of purchasing gold and investing in gold is how to get it. It's difficult to get. Some people go to coin stores or precious metal places. Some people can even go through investment companies that do the gold investing for you and then pass the gains along. But it is difficult. It is difficult to find ways to get into gold, and it is not as easy to buy, nor is it as easy to sell. And sometimes when you want to sell that, you've got to find other buyers that want that gold.
You kind of mentioned that buy low, sell high kind of mentality, but does gold really ever lose its value?
It can go down in that perceived value, but again, where it comes to the perceived value is really what you're investing in. In fact, gold isn't really an investment. It doesn't produce anything. It doesn't have dividends. It's a lot like artwork or any other commodity. It's just that once you have it, there's a lot of psychological value to the owner, regardless of what the market says it's worth. And so there is that value perceived and enjoyed by the owner.
So kind of a safety net, I guess.
Yeah, and it's something that as an investment advisor, I would say, if you're looking at investing in gold, don't make it all of your portfolio. Like you would not do that with any asset, but if anything, it's a complement to your portfolio. And if you don't have it, don't think you have to have it. It's something that's a kind of a capstone to a good portfolio, not the portfolio.
All right. Thanks so much for being with me.
You're welcome.
That is DMBA Certified Financial Planner Shane Stewart. Brigham Young University is 150 years old. As part of that celebration, BYU President Shane Reese and BYU librarian Rick Anderson opened a time capsule from 50 years ago. In the box, there were items from the newest president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, along with some extra fun tidbits that the audience could get a kick out of.
All right, and I think our last item is a gavel. President Dallin H. Oaks, who was recently ordained and set apart as the prophet and new president of the church, was given this gavel when he was president of BYU. Presented by Utah Technical College at Provo. It looks like there's actually one more thing to find. We're looking for a jar. It's cinnamon bears. Wow. Do you want to read? What does it say on the card? It says, everyone loves cinnamon bears. I had never heard of them before I came to BYU. We eat them in the theaters, between classes, in classes, and while studying. We send them to little brothers and sisters and give them to friends. They are also good for Christmas stockings, Valentine's Day, and Easter baskets donated by Shelley Jeans, and they're freeze-dried for preparation purposes. Oh, should we try one? No, thanks, Rick. All right. I think there's actually one thing missing from the list. I was hoping that we would see 1970s Cosmo in this time capsule, and yet he's not. He's wait. Oh my God! Oh, look! There he is, 1970s Cosmo!
Oh, wow. 1970s Cosmo. As part of the time capsule opening ceremony, there was a guest who was a blast from the past, and he did a little trash talking ahead of the rivalry game.
The next thing we have is Gifford Nielsen's football jersey that was worn during a BYU football game. Rick, it turns out that I looked over our attendance today, and Giff Nielsen is with us today! For those of you that don't know Giff Nielsen, he was an All-American, and he's a legendary BYU quarterback. He played 6 years in the NFL for the Houston Oilers. That's a team that most of you won't have heard of any longer. And he is also an emeritus general authority for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Give it up for Giff Nielsen.
Wow, look at this. 50 years ago, I fit into this thing. Is that amazing? And I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking of the significance of the number 14. It is now retired at BYU. Ty Detmer wore it, and I wore this. Virgil Carter wore it. But I think this number is totally significant because I'm standing next to the 14th president of Brigham Young University.
Let's go!
So here it is. There it is. And it was, I will say this, 50 years ago, I can remember sitting in Lavelle Edwards' office and thinking to ourselves, what can this football program become? What can this football program become? And now we're 6-0, and we're going to win this Saturday night.
Let's go!
Against our dear friends up in Salt Lake City.
Another entertaining item in the time capsule was a tape measure. Included a message saying they knew we would have switched to the metric system by now, so they wanted to let everyone know what an old-fashioned imperial tape measure used to look like. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data protecting caregivers that we all depend on. and how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Storms hitting the Alaska coastline this week have resulted in the biggest airlift in the region's history. ABC News national correspondent Matt Gutman describes what prompted the mass evacuations on the Start Here podcast.
Basically, those typhoons swirled around, hitting the west coast of Alaska with absolute ferocity, and it gives you a sense of the power, 107 mile per hour winds. But more than that, Brad, they brought rain, a lot of rain. And what was already happening in some of these western communities in Alaska, super remote, many of them tribal, was that the permafrost, which is basically normally should be hard as concrete, has begun to melt, making it boggy and soggy like some sort of clay goo. And that basically enabled the rain and the wind and a massive storm surge to come in and sweep all of these buildings off their foundations, almost wiping out entire towns in western Alaska.
My son came in running to me and told me that boy, my uncle, his house is floating by.
And some of these evacuees spoke to our ABC affiliate in Alaska, Your Alaska Link, and described what they saw and what they endured.
So far, more than a little over 3/4 of the community don't have homes.
And the emergency management officials in Alaska tell me that this is the biggest airlift in Alaskan history, that the airlifts are still going on. They're doing hundreds of people. They're still trying to get people out of these hard-hit communities, and they're basically only 2 ways out, Brad. One is by boat, which is really not feasible, and it's a really long way, and the other is by aircraft. But they had to clear the airfields first, so at first it was helicopters bearing them out. And then we saw these massive C-17 Galaxies, these ships of planes bearing 300 people at a time. And basically what you saw is a huge portion of the population of 2 of these towns who were crammed into the hulls of these airplanes and airlifted out, huddled together against the cold. And then you saw the doors open to these aircraft and these people streaming out. Dogs, families, people in wheelchairs. It was a very difficult sight to see.
That is ABC News national correspondent Matt Gutman with Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast. Coming up, the science of scaring. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
We have our crash on northbound I-15 in Sandy prior to 90th South blocking a right lane, still adding to delays into Draper. Also a crash northbound I-15. This is after 6 North, but before 2300 North Warm Springs Road. It's mostly over to the right shoulder, but we're still seeing backups to the downtown area. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you're like me, you want your house to look its very best for the holidays when all of the relatives come over. And it's that time of year when I start thinking about, ooh, my front door is a little drafty. I'd love a new front door to hang that beautiful wreath on. I want to tell you about Peach Windows and Doors, because if you have that feeling, or if you need new windows and new doors, you want to go check out their great products. Peach Windows, their windows improve the efficiency, their doors improve the efficiency, and not only do they improve the efficiency, your home heating efficiency, but they give your home that $1 million feel that it deserves. And Peach is a trusted name in windows and doors. They do luxury homes, they do remodels, they do new home builds. You may have a home like was built in the 60s or 70s that has small windows. Think what that would look like with the new contemporary windows, the larger glass with the slim frames. They also have the European-style windows that tilt and turn, and they just make them so easy to clean. They also have those popular motorized custom roller shades that you can open and close with your phone. You can get a free home visit. It's easy to schedule at 801-566-1255 or go to peachwindowsanddoors.com. That's peachwindowsanddoors.com.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. How do you know if you're good at what you do? If your company is good, how do you measure improvement? These are fundamental questions asked by every sustainable business. Shideo Shingo was one of the masterminds of Toyota's 30-year leap from low cost, low quality to very high quality. They are now the largest car company in the world, and every year their cars get better. Why? Because they always ask how they can be better. They measure improvement. The internationally known Shingo Institute and the MBA program, both at Utah State University, have teamed up with a powerful degree that teaches MBA skills, continuous improvement, and organizational excellence. Consider a Shingo MBA. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Emergency medical unit, respond to 102 Maple Avenue. Possible stroke victim.
When stroke occurs, you have 60 minutes to win or lose the race of your life. There are new treatments, but you must get to a hospital fast. If you suddenly feel weakness on one side, have trouble speaking, walking, or seeing, it could be a stroke. Call 911. Get to a hospital. Because how you spend the next 60 minutes could determine how you spend the rest of your life. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We've already seen some snow in our mountains, signaling ski season is right around the corner. And if you're looking to find a good deal on some new skis, snowboards, or other equipment, a ski swap this weekend provides the perfect opportunity. Founder of Rocky Mountain Ski Swaps, Dale Roberts, started the swaps in Ogden more than a decade ago.
15 years ago, I was working for a gentleman in the Ogden area, and he
had a ski shop, and then every year he did a ski swap, and I was one of his weekend employees helping people, fit into ski boots and so forth. And then he decided to retire, and the Ogden ski swap stopped happening. And so that opportunity for families to have, and persons that might be on a budget to get great gear at a little better price or a lot better price went away. And so I felt bad. I thought, this is going to be, put people having to spend more money unnecessarily. There's always going to be folks that are going to go into a ski shop and be able to write, huge checks. But that's not the majority of the population. There's a lot of people out there that want to ski. They want to ski with their families, but they need this venue to be able to afford it. So we started it 14 years ago in Ogden, and then we started looking for other communities that didn't have that opportunity, and we went down to St. George and started one. And then COVID hit, and everybody decided to bail. And I thought, that's just not cool. It's people are still going to want to go skiing. It's a great outdoor activity. COVID's not going to affect everybody up on the mountain, but they still need the gear. So then we started our Salt Lake event. And so, it is a business for us as well, but we really take pride in being able to provide a venue for people to get product at a reasonable price and get them taken care of.
Roberts tells KSL News Radio's Adam Small efforts to promote Utah's greatest snow on earth to out-of-state skiers is hurting locals.
Our Ski Utah is doing a great job of marketing themselves to out-of-state skiers and East Coast skiers, but it's driving the cost for our locals out of control. And then when they don't have a venue to get skis and boots and poles and boards at a better price, it almost takes that opportunity away from them. And so we're definitely feel that we can help with that.
Rocky Mountain Ski Swap's brand ambassador Annie Condon says events like this one make it possible for locals to keep hitting the slopes.
Winter is my favorite season by miles and miles because of skiing. And there are people in Utah where I talk to them and they're always complaining about winter. And I say, well, have you ever tried skiing or snowboarding? And their comment is always, no, it's too expensive. And I really just admire what Dale and his family have put together with these series of swaps, because it kind of proves the point of when there's a will, there's a way. And I don't know, just facilitating that first step of getting gear, what they're doing, it's really making the sport more affordable, accessible, and approachable for families is what I would say.
Condon says you will find the best deals tonight from 5:30 to 9. The swap is taking place at the State Fair Park, and all the info is on our website, kslnewsradio.com.
Boys and girls of every age.
Haunted houses can be great entertainment, but can also be a place for people to overcome phobias. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly did some research and met some folks who are very into the science behind scaring.
I am not easily scared, so I guess I'm kind of looking for the thrill of the scare, which isn't easily obtained for me.
That's Heather Boyce, who calls herself a haunted house connoisseur. She says she loves the feeling of having her stomach jump into her chest and constantly seeks it out. Mental health therapist and co-owner of Play, David Ornegri, says most people go knowing it's not real, so it can be harder to scare them.
If you go into a room anticipating a room full of spiders, again, you kind of have that control of like, okay, I'm doing this. I know what I'm getting into. But if it's sort of like a jump scare, that might be like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming.
But Ornegri says entertainment isn't the only reason to go to a haunted house. Some people will use them to desensitize themselves of their greatest fears.
You're kind of setting yourself up for the experience. And so you're kind of going there and you know you can leave it.
The co-owner of Fear Factory says they constantly have to change their attractions because Dracula and Frankenstein don't scare people anymore. They start prepping at least a year before they open to the public each Halloween season.
The day after we closed last year in November, we started tearing out the old zone that was there and getting everything ready. And so it was designed like a year ahead of time, what we were going to do.
This year's big attraction at Fear Factory is a slaughterhouse. and it isn't animals hanging from the hooks. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Okay, I know it's not real, but I still get scared, which is probably why I just can't do it.
The KSL Common Spirit Health Studio will be live this afternoon in Provo for KSL's Football Friday. 28 hours until kickoff of the rivalry game on KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
And the rivalry game is upon us, and it's already providing lessons in sportsmanship.
This is a perfect example of how you can get along and still cheer for different teams.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, October 17th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, local schools are using the BYU-Utah game as a teaching opportunity. Also this hour,
when did the federal employees become the enemy? And why isn't Congress and the Senate being furloughed?
Locals say it's time for Congress to grow up and end the shutdown. But first, our top stories. It's rivalry week in Utah. The Utes and the Cougars face off tomorrow, and confidence is running high on the University of Utah campus. Senior Ben McKee says this year's offense has him feeling good about their chances.
So I guess actually the offense this year, because they're able to score points more than we have in previous years. We actually have a quarterback who's healthy, which is good. So I think that kind of sets us apart from teams in previous years.
McKee says a combination of a healthy roster and that trademark Utah defense could be the key to keeping the rivalry trophy in Salt Lake. BYU is, of course, hoping to spoil that for the Utes. Extended pregame coverage starts on KSL News Radio at noon tomorrow. Our top national story from ABC News. President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky had a long talk in the Oval Office today. They spoke about ways to bring about peace in Ukraine. Mr. Trump spoke with Russian President Putin yesterday, and he says he also wants to see the end of the war.
I had a very good talk yesterday with President Putin. I think he wants to get it done.
While speaking to reporters today, President Trump did not make it clear whether Ukraine would have to give up its territory to end the war. The UK's Prince Andrew is relinquishing all of his royal titles over allegations linking him to convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
We've had a statement from Prince Andrew saying that he is now giving up all of his titles and has explained that his decision has been made in discussion with the King, saying that the continued allegations against him are just too distracting. He is giving up his title of the Duke of York, which is how he is perhaps best known, as well as two other titles, one from Scotland and another from when he is in Northern Ireland.
ABC's Patrick Reevell in London. Other national stories KSL is following. Attorneys for Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO, says social media posts from the Trump administration could lead to an unfair trial. But federal prosecutors disagree.
His attorneys have been arguing about this for a few weeks now, saying that what President Trump, Justice Department officials, and others in the Trump administration are posting online about Luigi Mangione is going to taint the jury pool. And they say it's particularly dangerous for Mangione because he's facing the death penalty. So there are life or death type consequences here. And they're asking the judge to either dismiss the indictment or take the death penalty off the table.
That is ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is ending the day up 238 points. That's a full 0.5%, sitting at 46,190. S&P 500 up by 34. The NASDAQ up 117 points, and all of those indices up by more than 0.5%. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
Still dealing with some delays left over from earlier crashes on northbound I-15. The first is in Sandy before 90 is south. That right lane is blocked. Backups into Draper, and then northbound I-15, a crash prior to 2300 North Warm Springs Road. It's over to the shoulder, and you're still going to see backups to North Temple. The Good Feet stores supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecast calls for a lot of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 63. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be cool before game time, so you'll still want to bundle up. The overnight low is 44. Sunday up to 72 for a high, and then back down into the 50s on Monday and a chance of showers. Right now, 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The source is where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
I'm Jenny Oaks Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful. And Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and My Children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
It was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. This weekend is a big deal for football fans in this state. BYU and Utah face off at Lavelle Edwards Stadium for their rivalry game. Fans and players alike are excited, but probably no one is more excited than the folks who won our Cougar Keywords giveaway. We called 2 of them to see what they think and how they are gearing up for the game.
I was on my way home from work, and I entered the keyword, and just one time. And then the next day when I got that news, I was like, no way, you're kidding me.
That's awesome. I'm so excited about it because I haven't been in years, but I'm super excited to have the opportunity to go.
So I was like, wow, that was way go. I was like, made my day. I was like, send me to Wendover. I'm lucky. Here, I'll buy some lottery tickets.
I'm a Utah fan, meaning that I love whatever happens best for the state of Utah, but I really am a BYU fan, lifelong BYU fan. Even though I went to Utah State, my parents went to Utah and BYU, I am a BYU fan.
Oh, I want to see the excitement, the crowd and everything. That's going to be a great game. I want to see BYU win.
I have been following it. It's been very interesting, especially with a freshman quarterback this year. It's been fun to watch him handle the pressure, and fun to watch the team just take each game at a time. And then having Utah also be just as good a team as they are this year. This is going to be a great, great game.
I've been following BYU for a while. I mean, but this year we've just been really excited. Me and my wife had just got into it. We've watched every game. That was a close one, that last one.
I hope it's respectful, but I'm sure it's going to be super exciting. The vibe is going to be, everybody is going to be giving it their all, whether it be the fans. I love the fans at BYU are just giving that stadium quite an energy boost that's being felt around the nation. So I'm kind of excited. I to have the chance to go feel that is awesome.
Oh, just awesome. Go Cougars.
Some local elementary school students are using Rivalry Week to learn some important lessons about sportsmanship. Jamie Gondara is the assistant principal at Foothills Elementary.
We really believe that we can be different. We can have different opinions. We can have different things that we like and different things that we support, but we can still be friends. We can still support each other and cheer for each other and celebrate whoever wins.
KSL TV was there as kids showed up in red for the Utes.
Because they're cool. And my dad grew up watching them.
And blue for BYU.
It does make it fun. I think it's really cool to see like how many people cheer for BYU and how many people cheer for Utah and like the differences that people think, you know.
The school wants kids to know rivalry doesn't have to mean resentment. Principal Abe Yosby says this is what sportsmanship is all about.
This is a perfect example of how you can get along and still cheer for different teams.
And two guys who know firsthand how emotional the rivalry game can be are players who featured in last-minute wins on both sides. Here's KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson with more.
Former BYU quarterback Max Hall, he threw a game-winning touchdown pass in overtime to beat Utah in 2009. And then he unleashed on Utah in the postgame. He tells the KSL Sports Zone he's grown a lot since then.
As life goes on and you step back, you realize it was a moment, and Utah's still my rival, and do I want to beat them? Absolutely. But, I have a ton of respect for Kyle Whittingham.
Former Utah safety Eric Weddle also talked to the Zone about the game. He's expecting a Utes win, but says he likes the coaching staffs at both schools, and his own son is even being recruited by the Y.
They're recruiting Gage just like everyone else, and the men that are leading that program, I would be honored if Gage ended up choosing BYU, right? Or, obviously Utah.
Both say they love the adrenaline rush you get from playing in a game like this. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
It might be the rivalry game tomorrow, but there's one thing that the Utes and the Cougars are coming together for, a food drive. Tyler Jaros with the Student Engagement Program at the U says you don't have to be at the game to see this collaboration.
The University of Utah and BYU are collabing together with the Tackle Hunger Together food drive, partnered with Smith and the Utah Food Bank. What we're doing together is at Smith and at the game this weekend, there will be opportunities for Utah fans to donate. You can donate via Venmo at the game on Saturday at the Utah tailgate area. And then at the Smiths in Salt Lake City, we have barrels out. We're in 7 different locations just across the valley. Tonight, our students are there ringing bells and gathering cash and food drive, food non-perishables, and it's been a great opportunity to raise money and food. The food drive has been a University of Utah tradition, and in the same days when the same conference, this used to be a big thing at the end of Thanksgiving for fans to donate. We're excited to be in the same conference again and being able to participate in the food drive and tackling hunger together. And I think bringing our fandom together well to rival right, and besides just on the field, being able to give back to the community. And I think it's just a great opportunity.
And it's a good way to get off on the right foot before the rivalry game. The food drive continues through November 4th. There are more details online at rivalright.org. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson joined TV's Brian Carlson at the KSL Streaming Center to discuss the game day weather. Good news, it's going to be a beautiful night.
We've kind of been battling some inclement weather over the last 2 weekends, so it's nice to see this forecast. You can see it there, 61 to start, fourth quarter 51 degrees. I'm not talking rain. I'm really not talking about cloud cover. It is going to be great weather. Make sure you have that jacket and a winning spirit. Kickoff is at 6 p.m., and if we know anything about these games, Brian, we can go long. And so if we get past that 10 p.m., 11 p.m. hour, it's obviously going to dip off into the 40s if we have to go extra. I was going to say extra innings. If we have to go
Right?
OT.
Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it.
But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's now day 17 of the government shutdown, and civilians at Hill Air Force Base are among thousands looking at zero-interest loans or food banks to get by. KSL TV's Mike Anderson spoke with some of them who say it's time for Congress to grow up.
Behind the pilots and airmen,
We have jobs that we take pride in.
there are the federal employees that help keep the fleet in the air. These are some of their local union leaders who represent about 8,000 civilian workers on base.
When did the federal employees become the enemy? And why isn't Congress and the Senate being furloughed? They're federal employees, and they're the ones not doing their job.
Some are furloughed, like Brenda Jaramillo, not knowing if they'll be allowed to come back.
I'm a single parent, 2 boys. My ex-wife has worked for the IRS, give or take about 22 years. She's furloughed, no work.
As our nation's leaders refuse to work together, they say families and career civil servants become the targets. People who are trying to buy groceries and pay the bills.
It's ridiculous that they're causing the whole nation that that they're supposed to represent to have this kind of stress in their life and uncertainties in their life that they created.
The frustration is not unique to Utah. Peter Ferrugia is a union leader for CDC workers in the Atlanta area.
The vast majority of the work happening at CDC right now is not happening.
He says morale is lower than it's ever been.
I was able to pay my rent this month, but otherwise, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay the rest of my bills for the month. And if the shutdown ends up dragging into potentially November, then I won't have any money to pay rent in November.
Ferrugia says it's just a skeleton crew in the Atlanta headquarters of the CDC standing by in case of any potential disease outbreaks. We are hearing from the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for the first time since the new leadership team was announced, including President Dallin H. Oaks. President Henry B. Eyring says he knows God speaks through President Oaks because he saw God come upon him.
I watched him, and suddenly it was a different man. Suddenly it was clear that he was receiving a revelation.
President Oaks says he wants people to know the destiny of the children of God culminates in an eternal family. Up next, a new effort to bridge political divides with a needle and thread. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Still dealing with crashes that cause delays. If you're northbound to I-15 in Salt Lake County, it's heavy and slow going from Draper up to Sandy, where a right lane is blocked with the crash before 90th South. And then from North Temple almost to Warm Springs Road, a crash over to the right shoulder. That's also been causing some slowing on the drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Rivalry Week is here. The 5, the 4, dive, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown! BYU, Utah. Bear Bachmeyer gets in for 6 in double overtime. Listen for Cougar Tracks all week long. 30 minutes of coverage of BYU Utah. All this week at 6:30 on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars and Rivalry Week. KSL News Radio.
How do they get so excited about 50 yards? Think of what you could sew with that. But you need a really great sewing machine, a Bernina.
Get Bernina sewing, serging, and embroidery machines and accessories at fantastic prices. The Bernina Super Weekend Sale.
Don't miss this Dave's Bernina Super Saturday one-day event, October 18th at our Provo and St. George stores, featuring 0% financing for 48 or 72 months on qualifying purchases made October 18th.
Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on all new Bernina machines. Even the most advanced sewing machine in the world, the Bernina 990, is on sale.
And receive a free $5,200 gift bundle.
Hurry in for amazing bargains on trade-ins and just out-of-the-box special event demo machines that come with warranties.
Unbeatable one-day Super Saturday, October 18th discounts and clearance items throughout the store.
Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. A cross-partisan community of women is working to protect the checks and balances in the U.S. Constitution through quilting. The Women Building Peace movement has women holding an interfaith quilt in hopes of preserving our constitutional rights one fabric piece at a time. I spoke with the director of Women Building Peace, Alexis Bradley, to learn more about the effort and how it got started.
It actually started with a professor in Provo, Utah, who was feeling like she wanted to do something. She wanted her voice to be heard. She was worried about constitutional protections and asking our leaders to please uphold them. And so she put together this little quilting event downtown Provo. About 100 women came, and it was so wonderful that it has just grown and grown and grown. And we've been able to have quilting events all over the nation. We were able to get quilt squares from all 50 states, and women have used it as this creative letter writing project where they're writing letters on quilt squares as constituents to their congressional leaders, asking for our constitutional rights to be upheld. They're talking about due process, freedom of speech, human dignity, checks and balances, and it's just been something really exciting that has been hopeful and community building.
Explain how quilting and upholding the Constitution go together. Why do those two things work?
Well, I think the idea was connecting some of the history of quilting with women's movements and how throughout history women have used the art of quilting to storytell, to share their thoughts and feelings, and also fundraise. Like even the suffragettes raised a lot of money for their efforts through creating quilts, selling quilts, and also holding conversations around quilting. When they're gathered together, quilting together, you're able to have conversations and to build connection even within differences of opinions. We have women, this is cross-partisan, so women from different political parties are all welcome here.
So how does it work? How do people get involved?
So we have a website, Women Building Peace, and we also have an Instagram account. And you can come and you can decide if you want to host something in your home, if you want to attend one of our bigger events. We've had events all over. We just had an event in Nashville. It was an all-night quilting event, and we had over 120 women come and participate and quilt and write letters and postcards. And so you can join us through any of those ways. We're really encouraging women to hold these in their homes and to also attend bigger events that we hold, and we notify women through our newsletter of what's going on.
How did this small event here in Utah spread to become a nationwide movement?
Right now, people are wanting hope. They're wanting to feel like they can do something, they can use their voice, and craving community. And I think that seeing the excitement and the hope that came from these women in Utah gathering together and quilting and writing these letters, and then we showed the delivery of these quilts to Washington, D.C., and we met with staffers and senators and different congressional leaders, and it was just something that I think people were craving, and it caught on. Through the visuals and the storytelling that we've been able to share online, women from all over have wanted to participate.
So describe for me, you kind of told me how people can get involved, but when they sit down and they're quilting together, so are they putting together one big quilt all together with their different messages, or kind of describe how that looks?
Yes, so we create a quilt for each congressional leader. So we've delivered quilts to our senators here in Utah. We have delivered quilts, women from all different states. And so we'll make one quilt for one person, and all of those letters are constituent letters that we write on the quilt squares. And so we're delivering completed quilts with messages of peace and messages requesting that we are upholding our constitutional rights and guardrails and protections. And we want all of those in place. And some of the messages are very personal. And then we deliver completed quilts. And some have maybe received more than one quilt. But the goal of these women is they want to blanket Congress. And as we've delivered them, we've seen the response. It's been very positive. It's when we're saying, these are letters from your constituents written on quilt squares. Some senators have displayed them in their offices. Some have just treasured them. And so it's been really, really exciting and hopeful. And it just keeps spreading this positive feeling of community and that our voices can be shared.
So when is your next event?
So right now we're getting ready to launch a postcard campaign that is similar to the quilting, but we're doing these really cool kind of retro postcards with messages on them, and we will be delivering them all throughout this year and next year, and also as the quilting continues, we will be delivering those quilts as well. So we will most likely have an upcoming event next month in Arizona. We're still planning, and then we'll be doing a delivery this year in Washington, D.C., and then next year there are just even bigger, exciting plans as we move forward to the 250th anniversary of our country.
Any final thoughts for us?
We just want people to feel hopeful, and we want them to reach out, to meet with their neighbors, to have conversations within families and friends, and just be reminded that even within difference, we can find common ground and connection. And that's the message that we're trying to spread through this quilting.
Alexis Bradley is the director of Women Building Peace. You can find out more on the Women Building Peace website and Instagram account. There are plenty of fun sites to visit in Chicago: Wrigley Field, the Bean, Billy Goat Tavern, and the Rat Hole. A literal hole in the sidewalk shaped like a rat, or is it? ABC's Brad Milkey reports.
Well, this week, scientists came forward with a startling new conclusion. The outline nickname Splatitouille wasn't that of a rat at all, but more likely a squirrel. In a paper for the journal Biology Letters, researchers from the University of Tennessee and the New York Institute of Technology measured the dimensions of this again and again. The creature's limbs appeared to be a little too long to be a rat, and so were its claws and hind paws. After comparing rats, muskrats, mice, and squirrels, they decided this was most likely an eastern gray squirrel. Now, you might expect people to be happy that there were actually less rats on their city streets that day, but to a lot of locals, this was kind of saddening news. This image of a rat landing spread eagle kind of offered solace to every Chicagoan who has leapt into life head first, believing this was the Cubby's year, only to be disappointed again. You see yourself in this guy. It's no fun to have your legends fact-checked.
Bye-bye, rat hole.
Brad's full report is on the Start Here podcast. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. BYU and Utah fans all over the country are making plans for this weekend's rivalry game. A former Trump advisor under fire. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Still dealing with 2 crashes on northbound I-15, one in Sandy before 90th South. Maria?
No wet weather to deal with this weekend for the big rivalry game. You still will need a jacket, though, because it's going to get pretty cool by game time, probably around 50 degrees. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. During a meeting with Ukraine's president today at the White House, President Trump did not make a decision on whether to provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles in its battle against Russia. It follows a call yesterday with Russia's President Vladimir Putin that ended with President Trump scheduling another summit, this time in Hungary. President Trump says he thinks Putin wants to make a deal. Former defense analyst and ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy.
So it could have a considerable impact on Ukraine's ability to turn the tides of this war. And that's the only thing that I think President Putin would pay attention to.
The Trump administration has asked the Supreme Court to issue an emergency stay on a lower court decision blocking President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops in Chicago. It comes after protests today at the Broadview ICE facility outside Chicago. The government shutdown will drag into another week. The Senate returns Monday to vote on another stopgap measure. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Salt Lake City police say they've taken the steps they need to take to make sure a planned No Kings protest stays safe and orderly this weekend. The event is organized by a different group than the No Kings March, where a man was shot and killed over the summer. They've opted to rally at the state capitol this time rather than march through the city. The First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints sat down for an interview for the first time since the new leadership team was announced. President Dallin H. Oaks, who was set apart as the new prophet and president of the church, says he felt sorrow and burden after President Russell M. Nelson died.
I sat by him for 41 years in the highest councils of the church, and I knew what it would mean to be in the chair he had occupied so capably.
However, President Oaks says he has accepted the role with great humility and a huge sense of responsibility. Other local stories KSL is following. What scares people, and why do some people go to haunted houses to get scared on purpose? KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has some answers.
Haunted house connoisseur Heather Boyce says she's looking for a thrill.
The feeling that you get that kind of comes from the pit of your stomach and like rises up into your chest, that it's almost like an adrenaline rush, maybe.
But she also says it's very hard to scare her because she knows it's all fake. Mental health therapist David Ornegri says that's not unusual.
Something funny about us human beings is that we are one of a very small handful of species that actually seeks out danger for entertainment.
Ornegri says the best way to scare someone is to build up the anticipation. So haunted houses that use silence and darkness in some areas have a much better chance of scaring people when the reveal happens. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all ending the day up by just over 0.5%. The Dow up 238 points to end at 46,190. S&P up 35, and the NASDAQ up by 117 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, traffic is actually moving better, but we're still not clear of these delays from 2 crashes on northbound I-15. The first occurred in Sandy prior to to 90th South. That right lane still blocked. You're still seeing backups into Draper. Again, speeds are improving. We're just waiting for the delays to clear out. And then northbound I-15, an accident prior to 2300 North Warm Springs Road. That crash is on the right, and even though all lanes of travel are open, still some backups towards the downtown area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures warming up through Sunday, 60 for a high today, up to 72 by Sunday. You'll still need to bundle up for the BYU-Utah game. Expect a temperature around 50 degrees. The high tomorrow, 63. And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, Utah! Are you ready for the Utah Mammoth to hit the ice? From game-winning goals to behind-the-scenes moments, Mammoth Plus brings the action to you all season long. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the stands, don't miss a single shift. Visit UtahMammothPlus.com and start streaming today. That's UtahMammothPlus.com. Every game, every goal, live on Mammoth Plus.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Our listeners know they can always depend on KSL News Radio to air every BYU football game if they can't see the Cougars in person. But there are also a number of watch parties happening tomorrow, both blue and red, so people can get together and enjoy the BYU-Utah game with fellow fans. Joining me now is University of Utah Chief Alumni Relations Officer Chris Bosman. Chris, thanks for being with me. So we know that there's plenty of action here along the Wasatch Front, but what about those grads who don't live here in Utah? I mean, what can you do for those folks?
Hi, Maria. Yes, we have alumni chapters at the U all across the country, from New York City to Southern California. So we have our alumni chapters doing, I think 9 of our chapters are doing watch parties tomorrow. So New York is probably our biggest one. They're expecting well over 50 people. So we're expecting hundreds of Utah alums to get together with their alumni networks in their cities all across the country to cheer on the Utes.
Chris, I thought I knew everything but obviously I don't. How in the world does that work?
Well, we have some really great chapter leadership, some volunteer alumni who are just really interested in engaging with their fellow Utes in their areas and really spreading the good word and the pride in Utah all across their region. And they find places like bars or restaurants that are able to host groups. We send them a lot of swag and gear and giveaways, and they just get together and host a party. So we're really grateful for our volunteer leaders all across the country and the great work that they do. We have some really, really great alumni.
So is there a place for people to go to find out about these events?
Absolutely. Our website hosts all of our events, which include anything from tailgates to game watch parties, and that is alumni.utah.edu.
So, do Utah alumni tend to stay fans for life?
Absolutely. And frankly, the interesting part is the farther away they get from campus, the more devoted they are. Some of our most devoted alumni are all the way in South Korea and Europe. So, yeah, our alums are pretty loyal. We're big fans of theirs, too.
So, what's it like for you then helping them to put these events together?
Oh, it's so incredibly rewarding. And frankly, I have an amazing team that works with all of our events and all of our engaged alums. I just love to see the passion that they have. And it just renews my passion and my fandom for the Utes every single day to see how much they love getting together and how devoted they are to our teams.
Chris, thanks so much for being with me.
You're welcome.
That is Chris Bosman. She is the University of Utah's Chief Alumni Relations Officer. BYU alumni chapters also organize watch parties all over the state and all over the country. Utah and BYU are now making their final preparations before their game tomorrow night at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. This will be the first rivalry game with both teams ranked in the AP Top 25 since 2009. BYU safety Tanner Wall says he's excited for this one.
You know, this is one of the best weeks of the year for sure to have this matchup. Makes it even better that we're both ranked, having great seasons, just a lot of excitement.
Utah quarterback Devin Dampier was asked what their mindset is heading into Provo.
Keep it going. You know, we're on a roll right now. Let's keep rolling. Simple as that.
BYU is looking for their third straight win over Utah, while the Utes are looking to win their first game against the Cougars since 2019. Energy on both campuses is high. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera caught up with fans at the U to see how they are feeling.
Mechanical engineering student Bowen Fjord says you can already feel the rivalry intensity building.
They always keep the energy up, especially in rivalry games, so I think that'll kind of feed into the crowd, and the crowd will kind of feed into the players too. So I think the energy is just going to be great. It'll be super exciting just to watch everything.
Students say between the hype, the pride, and the packed watch parties, all that's left now is kickoff.
Kickoff can't come soon enough. The Utes and the Cougars face off tomorrow night in Provo. Extended pregame coverage starts on KSL News Radio at noon. Two former legends in the BYU-Utah rivalry say they can't wait to watch Saturday's game, but they're also having a growing respect for the other side. Eric Weddle and Max Hall both battled in games that came down to that last play, and they tell the KSL Sports Zone they love what both coaching staffs have done.
I have nothing but love and respect for that program.
I got a ton of respect for Utah and what they do. Still want to beat them, obviously.
And obviously I think Utah is going to win. But I think it's going to be a close game.
Max Hall went down in rivalry game lore for his rant against Utah after winning in an overtime game in 2009. He says he was caught up in the moment and the emotions, and he's learned a lot since then. A new kind of bachelor's degree is coming to Ensign College, designed with employers and affordability in mind. Starting this winter, the school will launch 3-year bachelor degree programs, trimming out elective credits to save students time and money.
In many cases, employers are saying, we'll teach them the technical stuff. We really need for them to be able to have the skills of communication and teamwork and problem solving.
Ensign College President Bruce Cush says the plan was years in the making, meant to help everyone from returning adults to first-time students finish sooner and start working faster. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Amanda, sometimes a deal is so good that they decide to extend it because they want more people to have an opportunity. That's what Bedrock Quartz is doing with their employee pricing deal.
They are extending it through the month of October, so you pay what an employee would pay, and you can get your new kitchen or your new bathroom done before the holidays.
The only limit is your imagination. They have over 100 different options for countertops, including quartz, quartzite, granite, marble. They can do bathrooms. What can't they do? They do backsplashes.
And their attention to detail is extraordinary. Andy and I went to their facility in West Jordan where they cut the marble and the quartz, and just to see how meticulous they were with cutting that stone, not to mention the installation process.
Yeah, they do 35 kitchens every day, so they're experienced, they're proficient, and they'll work with you. Whatever you want, they can take care of.
They've got showrooms all over the place in West Jordan, Layton, Murray, Park City, Sandy, Pleasant Grove, Spanish Fork, St. George, and Salt Lake City, but
you can also go to bedrockquartz.com.
President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, was in court today to plead not guilty to charges accusing him of sharing classified information. KSL's legal analyst and the host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, talked to me about the charges against Bolton and what he's accused of doing.
He's charged with 18 counts, and every one of those carries a maximum prison term of up to 10 years. So these are serious. And it's not like he's going to do 180 years. He's not going to do 10 years if he's convicted. But this could result in some jail or prison time.
Okay. Tell us what he's actually accused of doing.
So what happened was once he was appointed national security advisor, he created a group chat with his wife and daughter. And he was doing that sort of to create what he's calling a diary, thinking that when he's not in office anymore, he could maybe write his memoirs, write a book or something like that. So they were sharing information every day. The government has alleged that some of the information they were sharing was top secret, stuff that he wasn't supposed to share with anyone. And what he's saying is, look, it was a group chat. We were just gathering information for my memoirs. I wasn't trying to leak national security information. In fact, no one got it except the group. But that may not be a defense. I mean, if you're not supposed to share information with, foreign adversaries, you probably shouldn't share it with your wife and kid either. At least that would be the government's theory of this case.
Mm-hmm. Is there any evidence that some of this information did make it to foreign adversaries?
There's no reason to believe from what we've seen from the indictment that any of this information was leaked into anyone else's hands other than his wife and daughter. And I don't know how that'll play in the court of public opinion, or more importantly, in the court of the jury trial that he's likely to have. But it may be one of those sort of no harm, no foul type of things. On the other hand, sharing top secret information is problematic.
As National Security Advisor, John Bolton was selected and worked side by side with President Trump during his first term in office. But ABC's Alex Mallon says that changed when Bolton began to disagree with the president on foreign policy.
Bolton has been one of the most public critics of Trump's handling on national security, foreign policy issues. Even just yesterday in the morning, Bolton had a tweet where he posted a news clip of an interview where he was again critical of Trump's handling of Russia relations. He was very critical of Trump's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. He's been a constant critic, I think, and the administration has definitely taken note of that.
Bolton pleaded guilty today on all counts. Stay with us. Cool stuff in Utah is coming up. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We've had an accident in Weber County, southbound I-15 near Riverdale Road. It did cause some backups, in addition to the afternoon drive slowdowns that are already setting in from Ogden to Roy. And then northbound I-15, heavy and slow, Draper to Sandy with a crash before 90th South on the right. And then northbound I-15, a crash prior to 2300 North Warm Springs, still backing traffic to North Temple. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. How do you know if you're good at what you do? If your company is good, how do you measure improvement? These are fundamental questions asked by every sustainable business. Shilaos Shingo was one of the masterminds of Toyota's 30-year leap from low cost, low quality to very high quality. They are now the largest car company in the world, and every year their cars get better. Why? Because they always ask how they can be better. They measure improvement. The internationally known Shingo Institute and the MBA program, both at Utah State University, have teamed up with a powerful degree that teaches MBA skills, continuous improvement, and organizational excellence. Consider a Shingo MBA. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Visit the contest page on KSLNewsRadio.com. This week, it's all about dance. Win tickets to Odyssey Dance Company's Thriller. Thriller highlights the heroes of the season, including Frankenstein and his bride, with performances now through the 25th at the Grand Theater. Or win tickets to Ballet West production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, November 7th through the 15th. Get lost in a magical forest filled with mischievous fairies and a comedic love story. What are you waiting for? Enter now at KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, I had the chance to see a brand new play at Hale Center Theater, and it's the musical comedy Murders of 1940. And I'm just going to read what I wrote to Sally Dietlein right after I got out to my truck. I just had to let her know how much I enjoyed it, and I said, a black and white screwball film noir comedy complete with Nazis. You have outdone yourself. This is so unique. The entire play, save only one character, is in black and white. Sally wrote back and said, yeah, I think it's the first time we've ever done, and she used this term, grayscape. It is so unique. You are going to love it. And then just down the hall, Sister Act is showing, and all kinds of wonderful performances still to come, like Frozen. We've already got our tickets for our grandkids. Go to hct.org or get your tickets at the box office. And don't forget, get your 2026 season tickets.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
Donate your car to Charity Hotline. This is Roger.
Hi, Roger, I'd like to donate my car.
Yeah, good. Leave the keys in it, park it on the street, and we'll send a thug. Tow.
Where's your office?
In New Jersey. Where do you want it to be?
Well, Roger,
yeah.
I want to make sure my donation helps Utah kidney patients.
It will.
Which ones?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, I want the money to stay in Utah.
Then, boy, have you got the wrong number.
If you want your car donation to help people here in Utah, turn your car into a kidney car for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Hi, this is Luz Lewis Perez. Kidney Cars is the Beehive State's #1 choice for charity car donation since 1990. When you donate your car to Kidney Cars, funding stays in Utah to help local Utah kidney patients and funds local medical research. Kidney Cars gets donors the highest tax deduction, along with free towing. Visit towcars.org and learn more. That's Tow Cars with a K like kidney. That's TOWKARS.org.
It's Friday and time for cool stuff in Utah with John Smith, the Arrows. John Smith.
Woohoo!
Okay, so.
Also, apparently, I'm a new hockey mascot. I don't know if you noticed.
You're what?
Have you seen Tusky, the new hockey mascot?
Of course I've seen Tusky.
You see the mohawk? You know who else has a mohawk? This guy. Now, his is blue, and he's a mammoth. But
yes,
mine is black, and I also have a big nose. So, do the math. I'm a hockey mascot.
Still not adding up, John. But you know what? What do they call? What do they say? They say when somebody imitates you, imitation is
the finest form of flattery.
That is it. Imitation is the finest form of flattery.
Yes. Abraham Lincoln said that, maybe. Probably. Actually not. I don't know.
We're going to have to fact check that. Yeah. But Do you have a video for us this
now
week?
That I've completely
what do you
derailed
got
your
for us?
show.
I don't know where we're going here.
This week, we're actually going back and checking out what used to be one of the premier haunted attractions here in Utah. Now, right now, it's haunted house season, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Fear Factory,
of course.
Asylum 49, Castle of Chaos, Nightmare on 13th, Haunted Forest, all the corn mazes. But back in the 1980s, we had the Haunted Old Mill.
I went there.
Yes, you
did. It's actually
did.
one on your list I actually visited.
Right?
Because back in the day, I was young enough that I would do such a thing.
I have been obsessed with this building since I was a young John Smith.
It was creepy. There was like an axe hanging from the
creepy.
ceiling, like
So
swinging. Like, how did they do that? Liability.
We
issues.
went and checked out the history. We explore the fact that it used to be the Desert Newspaper Mill, that it was made from blocks that were rejected from the use of the Salt Lake Temple.
Oh.
And it was burned down, not once, but twice over the years.
I knew there were a couple fires there.
It's been a dance hall, it's been an event center, and it's been the filming location of several movies, including The Crow and SLC Punk.
Fits perfectly in cool stuff in Utah.
It
right?
sure does. Other fun fact, the guys behind the old mill were also behind the March of Dimes haunted house in the 70s and 80s. You remember that?
Not so much.
And that's the same family that runs Fear Factory. So if you go to Fear Factory, there's still a lot of those same elements, a lot of that same spirit and enthusiasm going into a haunted attraction.
Axe thing. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
I swear there was like a swinging axe in one of those rooms.
Scary, right?
It was scary.
So we actually get to take a look with permission, because the building is very unsafe and very closed off, but we got permission to take a look inside, so you get some of that in our Cool Stuff in Utah video.
Okay, so what quirky thing did you do while you were inside? I'm afraid to ask, but what did you do?
We actually got drone footage. So I actually didn't go inside the building, but we did take a lot of looks outside and may have had some fine members of the law enforcement community come and pay us a visit. But we had permission, so there was no problem.
Right.
But you get to see in the video where they're like, hey, what are you doing?
Okay, so since most of us cannot go to the old mill,
right?
What fun things do you have for us this weekend?
Okay, so it's BYU-Utah game, obviously. The rivalry.
Of course it is.
Who are you rooting for?
Go Utes.
Go Utes!
Yeah.
We actually took a poll on 103.5 The Arrow this morning. We let the listeners decide who I'm cheering for. It was 101 votes for the Utes, 97 votes for BYU. So I will be cheering for Utah tomorrow.
You know we are on the Cougar station.
Be
careful here.
Yay, go Cougs, I mean.
Absolutely.
I bleed blue. That's what they say, right?
That is what they say. Maybe not quite like that.
You know who's also playing tonight would be the Utah Mammoth taking on the San Jose Sharks.
Go Tusky.
Go Tusky. And if you're not into sports, maybe into some history, the Titanic exhibit opens today.
I heard about
at the shops at Southtown. If you've never seen this, it's amazing. Go check this out.
Okay. All right. That's what you've got for us?
That's a lot.
You're not going to, nobody's going to get drowned out by a thunderstorm this weekend.
Don't say drowned. We just mentioned the Titanic.
That's
now
why
I'm thinking about
drowned.
Jack. I'll never let you go, Jack.
I did love that movie for whatever reason. Okay.
Completely
Thank
derailed
you,
you today.
John.
I'm sorry.
Cool Stuff in Utah. You can find it on YouTube. Okay, if you're not into scary things this weekend, the Crossy Ranch Pumpkin Patch, they're available, but they have been feeling the effects of this month's historic rainfall with flooding and muddy fields. Now, according to the Utah Division of Water Resources, this is Utah's wettest October in over 150 years, receiving 4 inches of rain. Now, one of the owners at Crossy Ranch, Heather Lyman, says their rain preparations began this past summer when they implemented drains so that water would only drain to certain areas of the farm. Now, this way, they could keep play areas where the attractions are dry, but they were not expecting the storms this season brought.
We do have bark that we put down and sawdust that we put down, lots of things. We try just about everything, but this year with this historic rain, it has got the better of us.
Okay, well, luckily the rain is going to clear up this weekend, but it is set to return Sunday night into Monday morning. Brigham Young University is now 150 years old. To mark the school's centennial 50 years ago, they buried a time capsule.
Rick, it's Cinnamon bears.
Wow. Do you want to read? What does it say on the card?
It says, everyone loves cinnamon bears. I had never heard of them before I came to BYU.
Also inside the box, BYU President Shane Reese and BYU librarian Rick Anderson found a gavel that belonged to then University President Dallin H. Oaks, who was ordained and set apart this week as the 18th President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The gold market continues to go up and up, dipping just a tiny bit today, but overall up 30% in just the last 6 months. Now people are talking about whether it's time to invest in gold. So we thought we'd bring in DMBA certified financial planner Shane Stewart. And earlier I asked him, what's behind the gold rush?
Yeah, the gold market is taking its cues from a couple of things going on in the economy, things like lowering interest rates and a little bit of economic uncertainty. Many people think that gold is a safety place to go, and so that's what's driving the price.
So are we likely to see more record highs?
It's possible. The only issue is when you talk about should I get into gold, when something's at an all-time high, that's probably not a great time to get in. And so it's something that, and you'd have to really believe that it's going to go up significantly more, which I'm not sure. I mean, as you mentioned, the 6 months, it's been 30%. Over a year, it's been a 60%.
Shane says, hey, look at gold as a complement to your portfolio, not the whole thing. Jeff Kaplan is at Fat Cats in Provo for Football Friday. Stay with him. He'll get you home.
The KSL Common Spirit Health Studio is live this afternoon in Provo for KSL's Football Friday, 27 hours until kickoff of the rivalry game on KSL FM Midvale.